Welcome back, guys. So today I wanted to do something a little bit different for the festive season. So entertaining, you think of, serving foods, snack foods, those kinds of things. So I've actually gotten a 3-tier cake platter. So obviously you don't have to use it for cakes, but my aim was to do a geode sort of inspired, that's loosely used, theme in each of these. And then once they cure, we will be connecting them and with this framework here to make our 3-tiered platter. So let's get started and I'll tell you what we need today. So I've mixed up a batch of our Resi Clear. Now, if you'd like details on how to measure and mix, please refer to the video in the link below. We also have some colours now. I have our White Horizon tint, because I want to use a little bit of that on the exterior. With our White Horizon tint, I do want to mix in our smoke grey and our deep brown metallic powder, and I want to have a little bit of a ring of that around the outside as well. And then towards the centre, I'm going to put a little bit of our Resi Gold foil with some of the clear Resi Clear, so keep it translucent. And that way it'll sit close to where the stem of the 3-tier tray will be, and it'll tie in that colour tone. So we'll keep it sort of a classy, simple colour. I don't want to go overboard and theme it to a particular colour, because I want this tray to be able to be used entertainment-wise all year round. So that's the aim for today. I'm going to pop on our black nitrile gloves and we're going to start dividing up our resin and mixing some of our colours in so we can be ready to pour. Now I've made sure I've thoroughly mixed up our Resi Clear. I've scraped our sides and our base, so I know I'm ready to basically divide into my little cups here. This small dispenser cup I'm going to be putting our gold foil into, and then these guys will be our metallic brown with a little bit of our smoke grey dye, and this one was going to be a little bit of our white. We don't need as much white. I want a little bit of that with the opaque white, because with the White Horizon being opaque, it will take over a lot. So I just want a little dribble around the outside of that, so that way it sort of fans in towards the centre as the resin's curing. And we'll keep this one as our translucent. I may put like one teeny tiny drop of our translucent smoke grey in it, just to tint it a tiny bit. But the bulk of it is going to be a bit of a translucent centre. Okay, so we are going to get mixing our colours in. Firstly, we've got our White Horizon tint. Now I know this tint gets everywhere, so lucky I've got my gloves on, but I'm going to give it a stir up first. Acts a little bit like paint, the White Horizon tint. If you haven't used it for a while, some of it does settle a little bit, so we make sure we give it a good thorough stir around the base and the sides. Mix it back through. And then we'll dribble some into our cup. We don't need a great deal, but I do want to make sure I've got a nice solid opaque white. Perfect. Pop our lid back on and clean up my mess. Okay, white's mixed in. We have our smoke grey translucent dye, so I'm going to put a few drops of that in here. That was about 6 or 7. We'll mix that in, but this is the one I also aim to put in some of our deep brown metallic as well. But I just want a little of the metallic in it. I don't want to go overboard. I do want to really keep some translucency to it. So it's given us a real sort of smoky brown colour. And we'll put just a teeny bit of our deep brown metallic pigment in. Just a little bit of a scoop. Because I don't want it too concentrated. And it just gives it just a little bit of a metallic look to it. But if you look at it on my paddle pop stick, you still see some translucency to it. So that's exactly how I wanted it. Just has that little shimmer and it has those nice warm golden tones. Now I'm contemplating whether we leave this completely clear or not, so I'm going to put our gold foil into this little one first before I decide, or whether I just put like one drop into our translucent Resi Clear. Now the gold foil wants to go everywhere, so my aim for this one is to try get some of the smaller broken bits, if it wants to come off. If not, we'll break it up a little bit. I'm going to scoop it in. It does want to go everywhere, the gold. I do want a little bit more though, because this is only a small amount that I'm going to put in through the center of the silicone. So I just want a little bit more in there. That should be enough. Just push that down into our resin. Mix that through. Just making sure I have broken it up and I've got it nice and evenly through my resin. Perfect. Happy with that. And I think my end decision, I think I will leave this clear, because my aim is to pour our brownie metallic tone on the outside rim, add a little bit of that white, put our gold foil through the center, but then pour our clear in that. So that way our colors from the outside are going to sort of migrate inwards and to give us that little bit of a geode texture. So I will leave our Resi Clear completely translucent, because we will get some blending of those colors. So now that we've got everything mixed, I want to make sure our silicone trays here are completely clean, because I did drop a little bit of foil on this one. So I will give it a little bit of a wipe over. And a nice mist with isopropyl to make sure it is clean. So our pot life of the Resi Clear is between 20 and 40 minutes. Now ambient temperature does play key to that. The room that I'm working in today is relatively cool, probably sitting at your sort of 23-degree mark, which is kind of perfect for working with resin, so it is definitely regulated. So I do have closer to our, I guess maybe our sort of 30-minute mark. I did mix it up prior to this. One way to keep an eye on it as well is if you are feeling it in your container that you mix with and it starts to feel like it's got a little bit of warmth to it, then you do want to sort of get moving with mixing your colors and pouring it out into your job. But we are pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to start with our gold around the center. So I'm just pouring it around the center, a little bit more on our larger one, just making sure my gold is broken up. I've got a little bit of a lumpy piece there, I might pop that back. Spreading it all around evenly. Okay, so I'm going to pour in some clear just around the middle portion here, on all three of the trays. I want to keep them all the same. I want to tie, obviously, the theme in on each level all the same. It's also important to note you do need to make sure that your silicone molds are level. Okay, I'm going to pop in some of my metallic. And remember, a majority of it is tinted, so it's a fair amount of translucency. So we'll pop that through around the outside. A little bit more on our larger one, just to spread out that colour a little bit. And I did move a little bit of my translucent too much towards the centre here, so I'm actually just going to scoop it back. Just push it back into the outside sort of channel. It will want to migrate in towards the centre, but I want it to do it evenly. I don't want just sort of a little strand out of place. Same goes over this side, just push it back towards the side a little bit more. Okay. And I've got another little one over here that I didn't realise, another drop. So we'll keep our drop back here. And we're going to pour a little bit of our white Now I think I'm going to grab a dropper for this one, an eyedropper, and I just want to suck some of that up and then sort of dribble it around the exterior. I'll have a little bit more control doing it that way. I'm going to suck up some of that resin. Okay. I'm just going to dribble it around the exterior here. And I'm just mimicking the pattern of the actual silicone mold itself. I just don't want too much of the white because the opaque white can take over. So that's why I'm just doing a thin little dribbled line of it. Oh, last little one. Just doing a couple of little touch-ups on some areas that are a little bit thinner. And then I'm going to fill our silicone mold ever so slightly a little bit more through that center. Because we want to top up our silicone molds. And I'm just going to get down at eye level as well because I just want to make sure I've got it at the right height. I don't want to overfill it, but I also don't want it too low. Perfect. Before I let this set and cure for 24 hours, I'm going to give it a nice mist with isopropyl to pop some of those bubbles that have come up in my mixture. You can already see from me adding that top-up layer in of the Resi Clear, the movement of my white sort of rotating across my metallics there, and it's starting to draw through to the center. So I'm hoping for a little bit more of that, so it just fans in a little bit more towards the center. When I give it a mist with isopropyl, it'll probably do that as well. And then I might just ever so slightly separate out some of the gold so it's not literally just in chunks in the center. So let's get our iso. And then with my paddle pop stick, just spreading these out just a little bit, just so it's not just sitting as a massive chunk. And as our resin cures, it will want to sort of rotate back towards the center. So we are going to get some of it sit back through the center, but just if I spread it out that little bit more now, it won't be in such a big bunch through the center. And you can already see some of that like geode pattern sort of starting to happen now. So I'm really excited to see what happens after we let this one cure and we demold it and we put our tray together. Okay guys, so after a 24-hour period, we are basically going to demold this and pop it together with the internal frame piece to make our 3-tier tray. So if you do have any questions about this process, please leave a comment below. Otherwise, make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. But enjoy your festive 3-tier tray.